today. We thank you for coming here today. We appreciate your support. I was in Indiana for 2 weeks, and upon my return from Indiana, I noticed that there was an unfortunate spread of what I suspected to be the norovirus in our community. So after consulting with SVG, our consulting group here in the orange shirts, other pastors in my denomination, some denominational officials, and other directors and staff, I felt it was in the best interest of our students and faculty to close the school until we were certain that it was safe for your children, for the staff, and for myself. And so I took that action myself. One is never prepared, really, for this type of event. And the decision to close a school and place a burden on you, the parents and guardians, wasn't an easy one. But I did feel, and still feel and believe, it was absolutely necessary. And I think the way that it's played out, that I was proven to be right. I was even more confident with my decision after coming down with the norovirus myself on Monday after I helped sanitize the facility. And let me tell you, if anybody's had the norovirus, it is no fun. And I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody, and especially upon children, because when children get sick, it's a whole other story. They don't understand it. They can't really feedback what's happening. They become confused. And it's just terrible. It's just awful to see a child sick. I can't stand it myself. I didn't enjoy it myself, but I can tell you what, for the sake of the children, I would have gladly had it 3 times than to see what was going on in this building. And so the virus was still active. On Monday night, after we spent the day cleaning the school, like I say, it came down. The virus was still active and definitely unpleasant. We've taken every measure and every precaution necessary to ensure that your children are happy and healthy and our school environment is totally safe, as much as we can possibly make it so. The board and I have made the decision to hire the Serona Consulting Group, again, these good people in the orange shirts, Lindsay back there being one of our parents of a child in the school, to assist us with developing procedures and plans that are more up to date so that we can develop procedures so that we may never have to face this sort of event in our community again, as much as it was in our power to do so. So in the future, I will personally ensure that we are better prepared to handle situations just like this one. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mark of the Serona Group, who our church has engaged as a consulting group to make certain that our SOPs, standard operating procedures, and other measures be taken so that the chance of anything like this will be minimized. So Mark, you are welcome.
Appreciate it.
And welcome up here on the dais.
Thanks so much, appreciate it. Hi. You guys have been through it here in the last few days, and we, SCG, Serona Consulting Group, we are really the leaders and experts in environmental health and safety. And so it's really our job to, in a situation like this, kind of come in and help mitigate and minimize the situation as best as possibly can have. We're well equipped to help deal with this sort of situation and make sure that the kids and the parents are as informed as possible and are in a situation to understand what's happened, what they're getting into, and take any action necessary so that the little ones are all protected, and families and parents and guardians are all okay. I just want to publicly commend Pastor Wade. Had it not been for his initial foresight of closing down the school, which I know puts a burden on all the parents and families, but if he had not foreseen that and taken that action, this could have been really not a good situation. So, Pastor Wade, congratulations to you for taking that initiative and to do that. That was quick thinking on your part and a really good move. We're gonna go through. I'm going to introduce to you Lindsay Mozina, who some of you may or may not know. She happens to be a mom with a little one here. Her credentials are such that she is actually, when she found out some of these things were happening, is actually required by law to help the people that need to know what's happening, to prevent issues and concerns from to make sure that they're all managed in the way that they're supposed to be. So it's really convenient for y'all to have someone like that in your school who is one of very few actually qualified to deal with this sort of thing with her credentials and background. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to answer any questions that you have. There is no question that you need to feel that you don't need to ask. There's a lot that people just don't know about this, and hopefully through this little forum, you'll be able to get all of your questions answered and feel more comfortable. So thank you guys for taking time to be here. Lindsay?
Hi everyone. I don't know any of you yet, so I don't think you're in Kip's class, Miss Lydia, but so just a little background myself. I have a biology degree. I also am a registered environmental health sanitarian, registered sanitarian. I've been doing this thing for over 10 years. So I had the fortunate ability to be able to see kind of what was happening. And you're registered what? Sanitarian. So I know it sounds dirty. It's really not. It's a state designation to hold when you work in the environmental health industry. It's tough to us. It's horrible. But it's what we do. So I worked with public health. I worked with county health for a long time before I started the company about 2 years ago. So we've been doing this kind of thing for a long time now. We're able to recognize different types of viruses or pathogens that are out there that can infect other people. And so that's what I was able to see what was going on. And so we worked quickly with that. And the reason when you have a virus such as norovirus that you have to act quickly is that it spreads very rapidly. Within 24 to 48 hours of exposure, you're going to come down with the symptoms, even as early as 12 hours. And that's what we've seen with this one that's been going around, this strain. It does spread very rapidly, although it's mild in most cases. It does have up to 71,000 hospitalizations a year, with about 10% of those causing deaths. So it is very serious in the young and the elderly, and it's something that can spread through. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it in the news when an entire cruise ship came down with it. So it goes fast. So what we want to do when you have an illness like this that's spreading through the population is two things. One, you want to stop the spread of that. And the key way of doing that is by keeping sick kids home. If your child has vomiting and diarrhea and a fever together, or vomiting and a fever, or diarrhea and a fever, any of those combinations, you need to keep them home for at least 24 to 48 hours before sending them back, okay? Because they may seem fine, kids bounce back. I mean, Kip had this Friday night. By Saturday at 12 o'clock, he seemed absolutely fine, which, thank God. But on the back end of it, norovirus can shed up to 3 days later. So we say 24 to 48 hours because they'll usually be symptom-free. That by that point, they can come back, okay? Along with that, norovirus is very difficult to kill. That's what makes it such a big deal when it's spreading through the population. You can't just use your normal sanitizers that you have at home. You have to use Clorox bleach at a certain dilution. So we're looking at more of a 200 parts per million. So when you're at home, if you're cleaning up after your kids are, obviously having a fecal incident or vomiting incident, make sure you're using a bleach solution, and make sure it's at a disinfectant level. So you want about a third of a cup per 5 gallons. The reason I have the CDC fact sheet up is we're going to email that out to you guys afterwards, because it talks about what to do with linens, how to clean up afterwards. And don't be scared. I mean, if at this point, if no one in your family has come down with vomiting, diarrhea, you guys are pretty much in the clear. But should anyone do that, please keep them home. Outside of that, too, there are certain reporting procedures that a school is required to have. So if your child is out ill, when you call in, please don't just call and say, hey, I'm keeping Joe home today because he's sick. We need to know what he's sick with. If any of you have kids in the public school system, when you call in, you'll know that you have to say what they're sick with, what the symptoms are, if it's been diagnosed by a doctor. And so that's the same thing. It's one of the things we're going to be working with them here on, making sure that reporting's being done, so that way in the future, we're able to kind of get on it ahead of time instead of having to be reactive. So you'll see that change. You'll see that change up at the front desk if you do have to call.
So numbers have already gone to the Department of Health?
Yes. Yep. We have 24 hours to notify the state and the county, anytime you have 3 or more related illnesses, there's a list of reportable diseases out there. It's called a disease. It sounds much scarier than it is. It's just anytime you have 3 or more kids that get sick with the same symptoms, you do have to report it. So yes, that was reported. It was reported on Monday. And what we're really going to do is really work closely with the staff here. You know, I love this school. My son enjoys his time here. I love the parents. I'm happy he's here. And the last thing I want is our teachers or staff to feel stressed out in this kind of an, situation again. So we're coming in to really help everybody make sure we have procedures in place. So if it happens, it's kind of like it's just like muscle memory. You know what I mean? Like if they have a kid that's puking, they know what to do. They don't have to worry about it. All the procedures are in place. So that's what we're really looking for. And then one thing that we're going to be sending out and why we need the emails too is a survey. And we really want your feedback as to what you feel we can do different with the school, because we're going to be putting a lot of different procedures in place and working with them closely on that. So please take the time we have it only open for 48 hours. So tonight, tomorrow, when you have a chance, it's only I think 8 questions. So it's really quick and easy. A lot of it's radio buttons, so you just hit yes, no, or put it on a scale. There's a spot for comments, so any comments that you have, please be honest with us. Please put in what you think. We're going to take all that feedback and do what we can with it.
Thanks to you guys for coming out and for the work that you've done on our behalf. I also want you to know that when I am here, please feel free to come in and talk to me about anything that you want to with regard to this school or to spiritual matters as well. So please don't hesitate, all right? And thank you so much for coming, and God bless you all. God bless our school.